Okay, so let's just set the scene here before we go any further. We're about to dive into some serious rumor territory. I want you to picture me holding a bucket of salt. No, scratch that. A whole damn ocean's worth of salt. Just guzzle it down because what we're about to talk about, it's a leak from 4chan. I know. Just saying that out loud is enough to make you roll your eyes so hard you might see your own brain. But that's where we're at. The world of gaming leaks is a circus, and 4chan is where the clowns ride in. But hey, for the sake of the conversation, let's go through it. It's at least interesting, and honestly, sometimes you gotta peek behind the curtain and see what kind of weirdness is floating around. This particular post was first dropped on 4chan. Then, naturally, it got mirrored over to Reset Era, because Reset Era just lives to scoop up every little internet rumor and pour gasoline on it. The big reason people don't trust 4chan is pretty simple. Anyone can post anything, and it's all anonymous. No names, no receipts, just pure chaos. It's like someone letting their cat walk across the keyboard and calling it a leak. And look, let's be real. A good 99.9% of the stuff posted there is complete, unfiltered fiction. But every once in a blue moon, something legit does leak out. The law of averages says a broken clock's right twice a day, right? So even if it's just for fun, let's poke at it and see if there's any meat on the bone. This supposed leak is about Intergalactic, the heretic prophet. And before you start thinking, oh great, here comes another galaxy-brained fake, just know we're all in this together. Let's break it down, call out the bullshit, and maybe, just maybe, there's a nugget of truth in here. All right, let's get into the actual post. The dude who dropped this is claiming he worked on QA builds between February and May, so we're talking about someone who allegedly got to play test the game for a solid chunk of time earlier this year. But of course, because this is 4chan, they can't say too much or they'll get effed. Apparently, Naughty Dog is running their studio like the CIA. I kinda love that energy. Super secretive, super hardcore, no leaks, or you get the Naughty Dog version of a Men in Black visit. So here's the gist of what he's saying. Think The Last of Us or The Last of Us Part 2 meets Dark Souls. Not open world in the Ubisoft way. No giant checklist map. No hundreds of icons and side quests drowning you out. Instead, they're calling it a nested sandbox, which is basically a bunch of big areas with layers, verticality, paths, secrets, traversal. You've got glider parkour. There are these faith actors. Yeah, I have no clue either that you can link up with to unlock fast travel points. Right out of the gate, I'm gonna say this kind of lines up with stuff Neil Druckmann has said before. You remember, right after Elden Ring came out, Druckmann was pretty vocal about being inspired by open-ended storytelling, environmental hints, stories being told through the world instead of just a bunch of cutscenes. He's always talking about giving the player more agency, more freedom, which, hey, that all fits this nested sandbox pitch. He even pointed directly to Elden Ring as inspiration. So I guess that's not wild for this leak to say. Combat-wise, this mystery QA guy is promising it feels good. Satisfying feedback, combos you can string together by jumping and dashing, breaking limbs to handicap enemies, using special tools for unique status effects. There's a pistol in the trailer. Supposedly, you'll use it to target weak points that actually show up while enemies attack. He's describing metal destruction, explosions, particle effects, all very believable. But here's the thing, nothing here sounds all that wild. Like, sure, it could be true, but it also could just be someone making educated guesses based on every third-person action game from the past decade. And honestly, with leaks, you gotta remember, a lot of these folks are just connecting dots we already know exist. If you want your fake leak to sound legit, you just say things that are already out there in the world. It's like, hey, I have a leak. GTA 6 will have cars. Thanks, Nostradamus. It's not actually a leak if it's just stuff that's already been said or assumed. Anyway, here's the next bit. The bounty hunter protagonist talks using a dialogue wheel. They bring up dialogue wheels being back, but very sparse. Players mostly alone. Most encounters are optional. You can stealth past, avoid, negotiate, or even hack enemies. The world is described as a tomb of failed civilizations. Think Elden Ring lore in space. Apparently, something cut this planet off from the rest of the galaxy 600 years ago, right after some technocult locked it down. Druckmann's script is heavy, supposedly a mashup of religious apocalypse fanfic and hard sci-fi. Okay, this is where the red flags start waving. QA testers don't get told the deep story elements. All right, especially not years before release. This person supposedly played a build for a few months, and we're supposed to believe that they got the whole script, lore, and the big twist about a planet-wide lockdown? Come on, it just doesn't add up. You know, if you've ever done QA or playtesting, you know how this goes. They sit you down, NDA you to death, and then give you like 2 combat encounters and a map with no story spoilers. You never see the big picture. Nobody hands over the lore Bible or invites you to story meetings. So when someone says, I was doing combat QA, but let me tell you about this apocalyptic cult and the full timeline of the collapse. Yeah, nah, I'm not buying it. Even if you're internal at Naughty Dog for months. They're not giving you the keys to Druckmann's secret script. Not happening. But let's keep going. They say the game is packed with cutscenes, several characters you can interact with, but most of the lore comes from finding items, journals, and exploring. They claim it's being tested on PS5 Pro dev kits, and that the lighting engine is insane. The whole level changes color based on the planetary phase, which sounds cool, but again, could be totally made up. And the music supposedly swings from ambient drone to heavy metal to religious choir to full-on rock. If all of that's in the current QA build, then damn, this game is way further along than anyone's expecting. Which, honestly, I doubt. They go on, there are relics that function like builds. You can carry 2, swap them, upgrade them. The supposed internal launch window is late 2026, with a full cinematic trailer planned for the Game Awards 2025. If everything goes according to plan. Sorry, gotta call BS here. Like, genuinely, I'm allergic to fake leaks. Almost nothing here is actually new or surprising. It's all vague enough to be plausible, but generic enough to be safe. If this person had dropped a blurry phone pic of a playtest screen, then I'd be interested. Then it gets spicy. But as it stands, this is just a checklist of things you could guess if you followed rumors and Neil Druckmann interviews for the past 2 years. I mean, even in the replies, people are clowning on it. You've got didn't ask, don't care, sounds like every other generic AAA game, or just straight up fake and gay, classic 4chan energy. The bottom line, I don't buy it. I really don't. This leak just feels like someone connecting the safest dots possible and filling in the blanks with buzzwords. I'd even bet the release window is off by a year or 2, even if it's aiming for late 2026. Naughty Dog delays stuff more than anyone. And again, I just can't see a short-term QA contractor being trusted with deep story stuff, let alone getting access to builds with finished music and lighting. So yeah, for me, this goes in the big doubt bucket. Fun to talk about, but I'm not taking any of this seriously until someone shows real proof.
Wait for it. Here it comes.
If you want to be ahead of all the gaming leaks and news, specifically PlayStation news, time for you to subscribe. And as always, a like on the video is very much appreciated.